The manga begins with a young man sitting in front of table and reading a book. He is the seventh son of the heavenly demon divine cult leader. Woon said, "Brother-in-law, what brings you here?" The person behind the door said, "I have a gift from the cult leader." Woon said, "A gift for me from the cult leader?" Haishakor captain, Lee Seung-gwan, said, "That's right." Woon said, "What kind of gift is it?" Lee Seung-gwan said, "A fine booze brewed by a master in Fuse Hall." Woon said, "It's not booze, but rather, it's poison," and thought to himself, "It's been 7 years since I've moved to this remote village. I've already expressed that I have no plans to rise to power, yet that isn't enough to free myself." Lee Seung-gwan said, "1 sip and you'll have a painless death." Woon said, "How many men did you bring?" Lee Seung-gwan said, 32 men of the Haishakor. "The truth is, I should be enough. However, what ifs exist in this world?" Woon closed the book that he is reading. Lee Seung-gwan thought, for the great demonic swordsman to have to cut a scholar that's been reading books and painting, how pathetic. Woon said, "You've made a grave mistake, brother-in-law." Lee Seung-gwan said, "A mistake?" Thought, "What? With this bloodthirst?" And said, "You've been hiding your claws all this time?" And start the fight with each other. After a while the members of Haishakor talked to each other. One said, "The fight's been going on for a while now." Other said, "It's taking the commander quite a while. Even if others say he's weak, he's still the former cult leader's son. He must be putting up a fight. Is there a skill that the young sir has been hiding? If that's not the case, I am quite disappointed." Vice Captain of Haishakor said, "Stop the chit-chat and be on guard. If he manages to get away, all of you will not see another sunrise." Haishakor members said, "Yes sir." Vice Captain thought, has he really been hiding his skills all along? However, that will make no difference. The only ones that can block a sword strike of a captain is someone of a very high expertise. It will make no sense to even think that he would be of that level. Haishakor captain, Lee Seung-gwan, he had made a name for himself from a young age with his amazing swordsmanship skills. At 30 years of age, when he had become the son-in-law of the former cult leader, the captain may be taking a long time on purpose for the young sir's pride. "The fight must be over. I can smell the bloodshed." Members of Haishakor said, "Captain's coming out." Vice Captain said, "Wait. That's not the captain. Everyone draw your swords." Members of Haishakor said, "Was the seventh son of the cult leader this strong?" Woon said, "Haishakor, this is your chance to run away. Now run." Not a single one of you ran away. Not bad for one of the representing forces of the demon cult. Now then, don't blame me for what happens next. Vice Captain of Haishakor thought, he's strong? And that crimson light coming out of his sword is definitely sword ki. Was the purpose of hiding away in a remote village to train his swordsmanship? Retreating would be impossible. Retreating also means death. Damn it, there's no going back now. He can use phantom blades as well. Sword ki wasn't the only problem. Is this the reason why the cult leader decided to kill his siblings? Here he comes. From left, what, damn it. Him defeating the captain wasn't just a fluke. The mission was a fail. Woon thought, to think my inner ki runs out from just using a bit of sword ki, like that. The wound on my stomach worries me a bit, but it's not fatal. Let's just focus on how I am going to escape. Then he hit by an attack from behind. Name of the attack is Heavenly Demon God Arts and Point 13 Heavenly Demon Ray. The attacker is Heavenly Demon God Cult Leader, Myung-gok, said, "I knew this would happen. Phantom blades are way above your skill level. It's a good thing I tagged along." Woon said, "Myung-gok." He said, "This makes it the second time I've used it." Woon thought, is he telling me to be proud that it was used on me? Damn it, I didn't expect Myung-gok to be here. From the start, I had no chances of making it out alive. Then he said, "Myung-gok. No, Hyung. I want to ask you one last question." Myung-gok said, "Go on. I'll gladly hear my little brother's last words." Woon said, "I have never thought about taking father's seat." "But why you go to such lengths?" Myung-gok said, "Woon, didn't I tell you before? The winner takes everything. The one who becomes the cult leader gets everything, and the ones who couldn't loses everything. That is the law of the heavenly demon god cult." Woon said, "Just because of that?" Myung-gok said, "Just because? Are you subjecting the cult's law and order to shame?" Woon said, "That law and order, I don't care about it." Myung-gok said, "Anything else you'd like to say?" Woon thought, I have reached my limit. I can't get my legs to work anymore. Gok said, I'll bury you where the sun will shine on your grave nicely. Woon shouted, Gok, is this the end? Damn it, I couldn't even retort back at his words. Then he hear the voice, do you regret it? Woon said, I would be lying if I say I don't. I shouldn't have ran away back then. He hear a voice again, do you wish to fight again? Woon said, if that's possible, I will fight with all my might. He hear voice, that's good. Woon said, it hurts, I can't breathe. Have I fallen to the water hell that the heavenly demon god cult talks about? If that's the case, I can't say that this is just. If I am guilty of a sin, the sin must be me fighting to survive. The ones that should go to hell are Gok and the other brothers that let such a dishonorable family feud go on. I shouldn't be the one that goes to hell, you hear me? Girl said, young sir, are you alright? Young sir? Breathe out. Woon thought this place is, if I remember correctly, this place is the Damaiyang Palace, the place where the cult leader and other important members. Then he hear a voice from behind saying to him, you idiot, how did you like that? Woon said, this is Maiyang Tak voice. This is a horrible dream. No way, have I fallen to the same hell where Maiyang Tak fell to? How did I end up with that pig? Servant said, don't say things like that, young sir. Maiyang Tak said, you, what the hell are you saying? You mongrel? Woon said, why you pig? Say that again. Maiyang Tak said, you think I won't? You mongrel? You dirty mongrel bastard? Servant said, please stop, young sir. Woon said, what the? Did I just get pushed over by that weakling? And see reflection of his face in water. Wait a second. This face is from when I was 11. Maiyang Tak said, drowned to fucking death? You slippery bastard. Some person intervenes and stands between the two, stopping the young sirs. Woon said, Zhang Moon, and thought, why is Zhang Moon here? He shouldn't be here. Zhang Moon, formerly a Black Tortoise Corps member, and rose to be the captain of the Black Tortoise Corps, followed by reaching the highest level of martial arts. A self-made man. The Zhang Moon I knew was in his 50s, but the one in front of me is young. That face obviously belongs to a young man in his 20s. Come to think of it, Maiyang Tak is also young. Zhang Moon thought the 7th sir knows my name? How? I've never met him before. But, if he knows my name, and said I, Zhang Moon, the Black Tortoise Corps' 17th captain greets the 7th sir. Maiyang Tak said, hey, don't you know that I'm in a higher position than him? Then he said, Zhang Moon, the Black Tortoise Corps' 17th captain greets the 6th sir. Please forgive me for not greeting you sooner, 6th sir. Maiyang Tak said, ahem, ahem. If you want to work in the Damaiyang Palace, then you should know who's who. Zhang Moon said, my sincerest apologies to the two sirs. As you may know, in the Damaiyang Palace a small quarrel might grow into a bloodbath. Please watch your actions. Woon said, I understand. Maiyang Tak said, I know that. I was just playing around with my little brother. I am off then. Woon thought, I remember these events clearly. 27 years ago, my 6th elder brother shoved me into a pond. I didn't know how to swim and almost drowned to death, and later suffered from a cold for over 10 days. Then does that mean I've been brought back to the past? Normally, I would think that I am dreaming. But a dead man can't dream. The one who asked me those questions in the abyss granted me another chance. Then, I don't know who you are, but this time, I will fight with everything I've got to keep my promise, no matter what. No matter what happens, I'll defeat Maiyang Gok. In order to do that, Zhang Moon thought a fight between two young sirs. Though they're still young, what a tiresome thing. Woon said, you're Zhang Moon, right? He said, that's correct, sir. Woon said, I've been taught to pay back those who help me. Zhang Moon said, no need, you don't pay anything back, sir. I have just done what was right for me to do. Woon thought, is he saying this is something so trivial that he doesn't need anything as a reward? And said, nonsense. I shall reward you for helping me no matter what. Zhang Moon thought getting rewarded for helping someone is not a simple matter. If I am rewarded with a formal sword in front of anyone, then I might be mistaken as one of the men on the 7th sir's side. That is not a good thing in the Damaiyang Palace. And said that, young sir, there's no need. Really? Woon thought, that's the Zhang Moon I know. He must have read my thoughts. But it's too late. And said, Captain Zhang, are you really trying to stop me from doing what father has taught me? And thought, father is the heavenly demon god cult's leader and the demon path's absolute. He won't be able to refuse. Zhang Moon said, how could I dare to do such a thing? Please forgive this grave mistake I've made. Woon said, there's no need for forgiveness, is there? I just wanted to do what my father had taught me to do, and thought marking the one of the greatest swordsmen to be is something one should not hesitate to do. Then he said, Zhang Moon, shall follow young sir's wishes. Servant running on the back of Woon said, young sir? Sir, what happened? Woon said, it's just a bit of water. And thought Kong Ha-won, the head manager of the West Quarters, and the one who curses his appointment to the West Quarters. If I remember correctly, he wanted to be appointed to the North Quarters where the fifth elder brother is. Well, he's got quite the background. Kong Ha-won said to girl servant, bring something to wipe with. Woon continue with its thoughts. I am not sure why, but he was appointed to be in charge of the West Quarters, not the North ones like he had wished for. That was probably why. Kong Ha-won said, how did this happen? Girl said, I'm sorry. It was between the sixth sir, so I wasn't able to go between the two. Kong Ha-won said, but still? Woon said, it's fine if you have the time to scold the maids, go prepare the bathwater. Kong Ha-won said, bathwater? Woon said, are you going to take responsibility if I catch a cold? Said, that's enough to the girl with towel. Kong Ha-won said, no sir, I'll go prepare it right away. Woon thought, 27 years ago, I caught a bad cold just because I fell in a pond. I have protected my body with a breathing technique, so I will be okay, but I should be careful just in case. Kong Ha-won thought young sir's tone is different than before. Woon thought of older memory back then. Kong Ha-won subtly ignored me. His hard-working traits faded away and were replaced by arrogance and laziness. All because he didn't get appointed to the place he wanted. I shall not show weakness in front of him this time. Girl said, the bathwater is ready. Woon said, make sure no one comes in while I bathe. Girl said, yes, young sir. Kong Ha-won thought, was his voice always that loud? Woon said, head manager Kong, where's your answer? Kong Ha-won said, me. Woon said, I will say it once more. Make sure no one comes in. Kong Ha-won said, understood young sir. The seventh Sir Myong Woon's quarters were close to the West Gate, hence it was called the West Quarters. In the West Quarters, Myong Woon's maids, servants, and the head manager together cared for Myong Woon. Even though he was of the lowest rank amongst his brothers, he still had a potential to become a cult leader. Woon said, this sure feels nice. I've definitely aged quite a bit, seeing that I'm saying what old people say. Before I died, I was close to my 40s. An age where I am too young to be called old, but too old to be called young. Let's just say I'm still young. Anyways, this doesn't look good, even my bones are skinny. Now I get why the master sighed when he saw me. Now that I think about it, was it 3 years from now that I met my master? The year when I turned 15, father appointed Phantom Sword Arts Master Wang Jun as my master. It couldn't be helped since I had no master up until that age. 3 years until I turn 15. That means that I'll have to train alone for 3 years. I've already mastered everything there is to Phantom Sword Arts. The problem is, Phantom Blades itself. Although it's not on par with Master, I can proudly say that I've resolved all the misunderstandings of Phantom Blades. But I was no match to Myong Gok, who had mastered the Heavenly Demon God Arts. Heavenly Demon God Arts, a vision of visions passed on by the first cult leader, Chen Ma, the Divine. It is said that whoever acquires this can reach the pinnacle of martial arts, and go beyond the limits and ascend to the absolute and above. The rumors were true. Out of all the cult's martial arts I know of, none of them are a match for that. Said to break the opponent's inner ki completely just by a touch. Great Ki Transformation Technique. Myong Jin, the third cult leader, nicknamed Demon's Creation. Infinite Great Mountain Divine Arts. Both were enough to send the heavens and earth into a state of fear. However, both did not reach the level of the Heavenly Demon God Arts. Then, how well will the 9 sect, 1 guilds, arts that are said to exorcise the evil? Shaolin Temple's Yujin Jing, Mount Hua sects, Violet Cloud Divine Technique, Weidang sects, Taiki Sword Arts. No, it's none of those. You can deflect an attack from the Heavenly Demon God Arts, but it's impossible to do anything else. Huh? I'm an idiot? I don't need to worry about finding a martial art stronger than the Heavenly Demon God Arts. I just need to become the cult leader to be? Kong Ha-won said, so what you're saying is that he fell into the pond and had a fight with the 6th sir. Is that all? Girl said yes, and just when the fight was getting heated, Someone from the Black Tortoise Corps stopped them. Kong Ha-won said the Black Tortoise Corps? Girl said the 17th captain, Jong Moon. Kong Ha-won said someone from the Black Tortoise Corps swooped in, and thought to himself, is the Black Tortoise Corps looking out for the 7th, sir? No, that's impossible. The Black Tortoise Corps leader is close to the 4th, sir, or is he not? Then said anything else? Girl said no, sir. Kong Ha-won thought that's weird. There has to be more to it. Girl with green dress said head manager. Young sir called for you. Kong Ha-won thought, why now? And say that I'll be there later. Girl said young sir says that he wants to see you now. Kong Ha-won said right now? Girl said young sir said so firmly. Kong Ha-won thought I can't ignore it when he orders like that, and said, I'll head over. He said head manager Kong Ha-won greets the young sir. Woon said manager Kong, you're here? Kong Ha-won said yes, I heard you called for me. Woon thought it seems like he dislikes my call, and said it's nothing much, but I'd like to sell the books in my study. Kong Ha-won thought a bookworm selling the books in his study? What's up with him? And said by any chance, may I ask the reason? Woon said I'd like to spend some money. Kong Ha-won said if you need pocket money, I can give you some. Woon said I need 1,000 liang though? Kong Ha-won thought 1,000 liang. Is this little kid playing a joke on me right now? And said young sir, your jokes are a bit too far. Woon said I'm starting a business, so is not 1,000 liang cheap? Kong Ha-won thought a business? A business after all this time? He said ha ha ha. A business. Are you talking about a business? Woon said General Kong, does it look like I am joking? Kong Ha-won said without a maternal family who will serve as your backing, or a teacher to teach martial arts, the youngest master with the lowest ranking? Are you really trying to start a business right now? Woon thought it may seem like he's pouring his anger on me, but he must be saying it to himself. The West Quarters, this place is too small of a cage to spread the wings of ambition. If he was appointed as the general, he must have had quite the ability. His retirement must also have been because of the situation he's facing. Should I revive his talent? Woon said General Kong, if there is a master who would become my teacher, and family who would be my backing, will it be possible? Kong Ha-won said, is there really a family who would become your backing? Woon said yes there is. Kong Ha-won said what kind of family is it? Woon said I can't tell you now. That's because I don't trust you fully yet. Kong Ha-won thought, the 7th sir has no ties to bluffing or lying. If that kind of kid is saying this, he definitely has someone. Woon said are there any more questions? Kong Ha-won said I have a mountain of questions, but it doesn't seem like you're going to answer my questions properly. I shall follow your desire? Woon said then, General Kong, prepare a military uniform. Use the highest grade silk, and dress according to those of the Black Tortoise Corps. Kong Ha-won said military uniform yes young sir? You must be talking about the military uniform of Jong Moon, the 17th captain of the Black Tortoise Corps. If so, you may rest assured. I shall prepare something that fits your body type perfectly. Woon thought look at how someone can change just because of one's drive. In how many days can you prepare it? Kong Ha-won said I shall prepare it at the date you wish. Woon said what about tomorrow? Kong Ha-won said I shall pull an all-nighter and prepare it. Woon said it's not your job to make clothes anyway, is it? There's no need to torment the attendants. Prepare it within 3 days. Kong Ha-won thought not only did his tone simply change his attitude while naturally giving orders. Has he been hiding his claws up until now? What's certain is that there's someone behind him. Neither the cult leader nor the heir may have seen that he has someone backing him up. The 7th sir has no maternal family. 3 days later Kong Ha-won said this is the military uniform you wanted. It was perfectly prepared while keeping in mind the record of the Black Tortoise Corps. Woon thought he even got the size accurate. Does that mean that talent can appear differently depending on who uses it? And said I'm going to the Black Tortoise Corps right away, so prepare. Kong Ha-won said are you going there yourself? Woon said why, is that weird? Kong Ha-won said, honestly speaking, I think it's excessive. Woon said why is that? Kong Ha-won said Jong Moon is the leader of the Black Tortoise Corps, but his ranking is low. Those who make the center of the Black Tortoise Corps are often leaders of a single-digit teams called the 10 Wings. As the 17th captain, Jong Moon is very different from them. I don't think it's enough for you to reward him yourself. Woon said it's not enough to reward him myself? General Kong, that's why I'm going. Kong Hwan said perhaps, are you trying to provoke envy from the fourth sir? Woon said fourth Hyung's envy. Why do you think so? Kong Hwan said the fourth sir is an envious person, so he has a habit of suspecting others. If one of the Black Tortoise Corps leaders is tied with you, it'll provoke his suspicion. Woon said you saw right through it. The envious fourth brother won't use Jong Moon for much and abandon him. All we have to do is pick him up then. Kong Hwan thought this is a strategy that a 12-year-old came up with, and said you're actually a really scary person. Did you oversee it all with that one strategy? Woon thought all the way. Is there something I don't know? And said General Kong. Tell me what you think. I'd like to compare if it's just like my thoughts. Kong Hwan said before creating the clothes, I looked up things related to Jong Moon. Jong Moon is an earnest man, but his martial arts aren't to the extent to be called a master. But his background is unique. Jong Moon's father is a self-centered martial artist, but he didn't receive a high reputation. But his mother was different. She was one of the 8 families of the Great Mountain, the Gishusok clan. Woon thought so Jong Moon's maternal family was the Sok family. If so, the fact that he reached the 4 great protection laws was not only due to his skills. Kong Hwan said if we have Jong Moon, we'll be closer with the Gishusok clan, and if we have the power of the Gishusok clan, you calculated that it'll become of great help to your business? Woon said but if I want to get their power, I'll have to prove that I'm worthy of their support. Then, shall we go to obtain the first badge of approval? Then he meet a woman and give him a box. The woman said thank you. Kong Hwan said what is this? Woon said you'll find out soon. Let's go to the Black Tortoise Corps now, General Kong. Black Tortoise Corps Superintendents. Kong Hwan said it with a loud voice. The 7th Sir of the West Quarters would like to pay a visit to the Black Tortoise Corps. 2 persons standing at the gate entrance. 1 person greetings to the young sir. The other person run inside and said Vice Corps Leader, the 7th Sir has come. Vice Corps Leader said the 7th Sir? Gate guard said yes, he's in front of the main gate with his attendants. Woon thought, I may not have any backings, but I'm still the son of the cult leader. On top of that, if I came together with the attendants. Vice Corps Leader said it seems like something's happening. Gate guard said what should we do? Vice Corps Leader thought I don't have to step up for no reason, and said call the first Captain Gwon-taik. Gwon-taik thought 7th Sir really did drag his followers with him. Whatever happens, it would have been nice to figure this out without seeing blood, though. He said I am the first team leader, Gwon-taik. What did young sir come to find the Black Tortoise for? Woon said for I have received help from a Black Tortoise squad warrior recently, I came to reward them. Gwon-taik thought it wasn't a grudge or to cause trouble. I can take care of something like this dozens of times. But I still cannot fully be at ease. Since in the heavenly demon god cult, there are many men who claim the opposite when talking about a certain case. Well, the 7th Sir doesn't look like someone who would do that, though. He recalled what Il-hoon said to him you can figure out the line on your own. Thanks to you, I can sit back and relax all the time. Compared to Il-hoon, 7th Sir is much better. Always saying thanks with only his mouth. He said though, young sir, who do you mean by the Black Tortoise Squad's warrior? Woon said the 17th team leader, Jong Moon. Gwon-taik said could I ask what kind of help team leader Jong has given you? In other words, you mean that team leader Jong has distinguished himself? Woon said that's right. Kong Hwan thought isn't that a bit too sugar-coated compared to what actually happened? Woon said and so I have come to reward him like so. I ask of you, please give this to team leader Jong. Gwon-taik though if it's something like silver ingots there shouldn't be a problem. And he said though, isn't young sir going to give this to him directly? Kong Hwan thought now that I think about it, he did mention rewarding him himself. Woon said it's alright. I do not wish to cause trouble for him for things like this. So long as my wishes are conveyed, that's enough. Gwon-taik said understood. Then I will hand this to team leader Jong. Woon said please do so, team leader Gwon. Gwon-taik said please take care. He said these are the reward items. Granted by 7th Sir. Il-hoon said open the box too. Gwon-taik said could we open it? Hoon said this case will be determined by the contents of what's inside. Gwon-taik thought is there a story behind the reward items that I didn't think of? Hoon said trouble, what a troublesome gift? Kong Hwan thought what could he have put in the box? Perhaps, something like a hidden dagger or a secret letter? Woon said why the sad face? Kang Haewon said it's not a sad face. Just that, there's something that I cannot easily figure out the answer for. The object young sir has put in the box. Is it silver ingots? Woon said where would I get silver ingots? Kang Haewon thought well, yeah. Thinking back, there hasn't been a time we've given him silver ingots. Woon said, Converging Clouds Hard Arts. Kang Haewon shouted by saying you mean the Converging Clouds Hard Arts? Woon said my ears. Why? Isn't it something I can't give? Kang Haewon thought his thoughts are so deep as to be incomparable to his peers, but he still cannot be perfect yet. And said young sir, that is something that can never be given. Woon said never, huh? Why do you think so? Kang Haewon is it not obvious? The Converging Clouds Hard Arts is the most precious amongst the martial arts books that are being kept at the library? You gave that away this easily? We still have time to go back to team leader Zhang. Woon said then let's go back and make it again. Kang Haewon said what do you mean by make it again? Woon said I've memorized all of Converging Clouds Hard Arts from start to finish. If I write down what I have memorized and make a book, wouldn't that become another volume of Converging Clouds Hard Arts? Kang Haewon said can you really write it again? Woon thought how could I ever forget something I've memorized over while getting hit on my calves? And said the Converging Clouds is the logic of harmonizing things that cannot harmonize with each other. It is divided into passing, combining, and connecting, which Kang Haewon thought the first verse of the Converging Clouds Hard Arts? An inner key heart technique that is on a different level than those common breathing techniques this easily. This child is not a child that I can measure with my skills. Gwon-taek said Converging Clouds Hard Arts? Why in the world is this here? Hoon said according to your words. Is it not a reward 7th sir is sending to Jongmoon? Gwon-taek said it's too much to be called a reward? Hoon said if this is known, 4th sir will not take this well. A Black Tortoise squad team leader has exchanged this kind of gift with another young sir, haven't they? He's going to be sick with suspicion and certainly will order to throw out Jongmoon. Gwon-taek said should we return the reward? Hoon said we've already received the reward though. If we return what we have received then 7th sir's position will become problematic. Gwon-taek said then what should we do? Hoon said let's do it this way. Gwon-taek said what a great stratagem. Hoon said it's not that great of a stratagem. A stopgap, perhaps? The next day, Kang Haewon said what are you doing here, team leader Zhang? This early? Jongmoon said I've come to meet young sir. Kang Haewon said I shall relay it to young sir if you tell me of your reason for visiting. You cannot say? Jongmoon said, that's correct. Kang Haewon said then you cannot meet young sir. Jongmoon said sir director, please. Kang Haewon said that's enough. I am a director who serves young sir. I cannot lead you to young sir while not even knowing what reason you have. Then return. Jongmoon said I cannot do that. Please I ask of you? Kang Haewon said team leader Zhang. Do you have to do this? Jongmoon said it is that important. Kang Haewon said to think you'd go all this way. Can't be helped then. Wait here. Jongmoon said thank you director. Woon said did Jongmoon come? Kang Haewon said that is the case. Woon said if he came early in the morning, it seems like he's trying to return the Converging Clouds Hard Arts. Kang Haewon said return the Converging Clouds Hard Arts? Woon said does he have any other reason besides that? Kang Haewon said but that's a bad plan, is it not? Woon said it's good for us, isn't it? And thought did 4th brother's jealousy already relapse? Or maybe the talks came from within the Black Tortoise squad. I think it'd be best to meet him instead of sending him back. Kang Haewon said young sir, if we take the Converging Clouds Hard Arts back, our looks will not be viewed well. Woon said really? Then don't we just have to not take it back? Kang Haewon said he came here to return the Converging Clouds Hard Arts. Woon said Director Kang, don't worry about it and let him in. Jongmoon said Black Tortoise Squad 17th Team Leader Jongmoon greets the young sir. Kang Haewon thought since young sir said all that, he must have a plan. Woon said you came to the library this early in the morning. Is there something urgent? Jongmoon said young sir, I have received a gift I cannot handle. I know it is bad manners to do so at least. However, I believe it is not something I can receive. Woon said I thought you knew about manners. Did someone see the Converging Clouds Hard Arts or something? Jongmoon said no sir. Only I have seen it. Woon said running over here early in the morning when no one has even seen it. You were too hasty, team leader Zhang Since you came running right as you received the gift, wouldn't we look like we are very close? The Black Tortoise squad is closer to fourth brother. If there's a rumor that team leader Zhang and I have a deep connection, fourth brother will not leave you still. Zhang Moon said I did not think it that far. Woon said I'll ask you one last time. Is there really no one else who saw the book? Zhang Moon recalled the memory when first Captain Guantaik said team leader Zhang, make it so that you haven't received the Converging Clouds Heart Arts. That's the only way everyone can be safe. And he said there was no one who saw the book. Woon thought no way there's no one who saw it. Zhang Moon coming here alone like this and returning the Converging Clouds Heart Arts is just like Director Kong has said, such a bad plan. Most certainly someone has pressured him. If that's the case, it means that there's someone else who wishes to cover this up. He said I think it's best to take the Converging Clouds Heart Arts with you as it is. Zhang Moon said I will return the book. Woon said team leader Zhang, are you acting like a hypocritical noble till the end? Zhang Moon said what do you mean a hypocritical noble? How could I do such a thing? Woon said if you have too much modesty you end up like them. Team leader Zhang, what is the justice the true cult pursues? Zhang Moon said strength, sir. Woon said the endless pursuit and indulgence for strength. That was the biggest reason the heavenly demon god cult and the Murim Union ended up opposing each other. While the Murim Union grew their strength to protect justice, the heavenly demon god cult pursued power on its own. And he said the Converging Clouds Heart Arts will develop your ki significantly. And yet you are refusing it with too much modesty. This is not following the teachings of the true cult. Zhang Moon said your subordinate was not so thoughtful. Woon said return, and think deeply about what the teachings of the true cult are. Zhang Moon said your subordinate shall carve young sir's words deep in my heart, and thought to himself. His thoughts are that deep at his young age, and said the blood of the heavenly demon truly is different. Zhang Moon said faster. Your swords are slow. Woon thought they look like they all do not want to do this for some reason. The great mountain sword arts these men are practicing is a sword technique that is the foundation of the heavenly demon divine cult. Among those, the sword technique that is trained with focus by the Black Tortoise core is the Black Tortoise 42nd sword. Woon said. Though aren't they implying they can't show me sword techniques that isn't the great mountain sword arts? Kong Haewon said is it not obvious? Woon said what do you think? Kong Haewon said you mean their martial arts? They have the basics down, but there are many things that are still inadequate. Woon said even though they've been selected by the Black Tortoise core? Kong Haewon said those that can be called strong within the Black Tortoise Corps are until the 10th team led by the 10 Wings. Below them compared to the White Tiger Corps or Vermilion Bird Corps we can't really say that they are especially strong. Woon thought well yet, the 17th team's martial art is not special. In the current moment the team captain, Zhang Moon's martial arts should be the same. Well, I approached him, looking for the future so I need not worry but, and said at this rate even fourth brother won't stay put, right? Kong Haewon said he wouldn't have any other choice. Woon thought I came here one more time since the fourth son my Yeongjun wasn't moving as I expected. If there's no reaction after all this, then I must have taken him for the wrong person. Kong Haewon said where are you headed? Woon said there's something I must do. You keep on listening to news about Zhang Moon and relay them to me. Kong Haewon said as you wish. West Quarter this is the basic of the breathing technique. Unlike the lotus position of the 9 sects, 1 guild, I put my hands on my knees, not on my ki center. After holding the breath I've taken with my nose deep in my body breathe it back out with my mouth. The start is good. The basics of inner ki heart arts is empty heart. It is an area where even satisfaction is not allowed. I must focus to the point I forget about the concept of time itself. After quite a while later, 2 strikes on the wooden bell. It is 2 in the morning, then, let's finish here for today, then. Sweat? The deep sweat stage? Certainly, the speed of achievement is incomparable to before. This is a problem. To think I'm getting this excited for just deep sweat stage. Those that I need to catch up to have already stepped into the ranks of first-rate martial artist. To think my body is this meek is because I've reached the deep sweat stage without having a ki center? Pathetic, when I already have 18 years of time difference between the first, my Young. On both martial arts and experience I am still too far from him. Even the third brother my Yeong-won is already an expert who leads the first in line. If I'm going to reduce that gap just a bit more, I can't fall down here. Damn it, I'll have to grow my stamina first. I'll do it properly from tomorrow. Kong Haewon said, I think I hear someone sleeping somewhere. Am I mishearing things? The next day, Kong Haewon said, young sir, while running toward him. Woon said, what is it? Kong Haewon said, Jong Moon has been relegated. They said he has been deployed to the garrison at the Great Mountain entrance, Chonghua Peak. Woon thought a relegation instead of expulsion. It's not the best, but it's at least second best. He said, then we won't be able to bring him here. Immediately, Kong Haewon said that would be the case, but it looks like he can join on our side soon. Woon said, then, I'll leave everything else to Director Kong. Kong Haewon said, as you wish. Woon said, already a month since training the Taigong key cultivation technique, I finally have a key center now. It's only the size of a fingertip, but it's fine, since I've essentially gone past the first hurdle. There's nothing better than the high sky hard arts for widening the lower key center. I just have to steadily collect ki and convert it into inner strength. It was a problem since I didn't know this previously. The amount of ki I'm collecting is not that small. Is it thanks to reaching the deep sweat stage? With this speed, I'm certain I will be able to open my middle key center within 3 years. Girl servant said, young sir, it is time to wake up. Woon said, what time is it? Girl said, it is early 5 in the morning. Woon said, what reason do you have to come in this early? Girl said, young sir, today is the day to meet the cult leader. Woon thought, oh right, was it today? The day to meet the cult leader who is also my father. Sok Bai Yeon, Grand Flower Palace's head maid. Heavenly Demon Cult Leader's secretary. She said, it has been a while. 7th sir. Woon thought, a skilled one with both beauty and martial arts. She is close with father. And said, I request your guide. She said, come this way. Woon thought, but nonetheless a woman is not allowed to be his mistress. Now that I think about it, was she also from the Gizhu Sok clan? It feels like I'm getting involved with them in many places. She said, it would be good for Director Kong to be waiting around here. Kong Haewon said, your subordinate shall be waiting outside. She said, then 7th sir, come this way. Young sir came here first today as well. Woon said, is it not obvious that the youngest comes early? She said, how could it be obvious? Woon said, I believe it is undutiful to make my father and brothers wait. She said, that's a good answer. It seems like you've learned many things from books. And she thought something has changed. Clear eyes, calm voice, or soft actions. Woon said, I am learning many things from books, but I do not believe everything is in books. My Yeong Tak said, guide me now. Woon, you must have come from the western quarters. How did you arrive earlier than me? Woon said, because I left early. My Yeong Tak said, not because you are scheming something. Woon said, I could not think of such a thing as I was in a hurry. My Yeong Tak said, really? She thought, I know now, what has changed. What he did not have before, but now he has. He has more composition. How did he gain such composition? What kind of change of heart did he? Zhang said, it seems you all have hurried. My Yeong Tak said, it's a problem if I'm late then Hyung. 5th sir, my Yeong Zhang. Woon thought, loud voice, exaggerated motions. Me of the past wouldn't have known. But that is all an act to hide his thoughts. Zhang said, wow Tak, how are you? My Yeong Tak said, Hyung Neem. Wait a minute. Zhang said, oh yes, Woon, how are you too? Woon said, been a while, Hyung Neem. I've spent my time reading books. Zhang said, book? You're still on that Confucius says, Mencius says thing? Woon said, I am reading the divine cult's holy text as well, and thought he's trying to shake me. It's not gonna work this time? Servant said, great cult leader is coming. Woon thought, he's finally here. Heavenly demon divine cult leader, Myung-jung said, long time no see, sons. How long are you going to keep standing up? Sit down. Sons said, yes. Father said, right, Young. It seems like there has been some progress to your training? My Yeong-jong said, it's still insufficient. Woon thought he was just exaggerating just a while ago. Myung-young must be nervous too. Father said, if you work hard, the day will come when you can fulfill your will. My Yeong-jong said, thank you. Father said, Tak, have you chosen your path? My Yeong-tak said, I have. I'm aiming for the 4 great protection law. Father said, so you're placing a meaning in martial arts. My Yeong-tak said, I will do so right away. Woon thought even Myung-tak is nervous. Was the meeting with father always this burdensome? Father said, Woon, I've heard some rumors about you. It seems that you had an enlightenment? Woon thought he didn't even say I changed, but an enlightenment. And he said it isn't anything worth being called enlightenment. Father said you don't have to hide it from your father. And enlightenment doesn't only describe stages of martial arts. If the mind towards learning or the attitude toward life changes in the correct way, that's also called enlightenment. Woon said I'm only living every day to the fullest. Sok Bai Yeon thought, to think he'd be that calm, when even his brothers are nervous. There aren't a lot of people who could be that way towards the cult leader. Maybe, the youngest master, can be an heir candidate. Myeong Tak said Hyungnim. I answered well, didn't I? Myeong Jong thought. Myung Tak has always been like that, so it doesn't matter. But did Myung Woon always have that kind of personality? Father said do you want anything? Young, you should tell me first. Myeong Jong said there is nothing lacking thanks to the care of many people. Father said Tak, what about you? Myeong Tak said I did like to have a double-edged sword. Father said I'll give you a double-edged sword as a present if you've achieved something in your martial arts. Myeong Tak said thank you father. Father said Woon, what about you? Woon thought am I the last one again? I just have to answer well here. And said I don't know what you'll think of if I say this, but I need silver ingots. Father said silver ingots? Is it to buy more books? Woon said no. Father said if not for books, why do you need silver tokens? Woon thought I don't know if this will work or not, but let's give it a go first. And said I was only thinking about my studies, so I couldn't pay attention to the people under me. A few days ago, I happened to be checking out their lodgings, but the situation didn't look good. Father said that means you need money to take care of the people under you? Woon said I think a nobleman who can't take care of his surroundings is no different than a snob, and thought please, I hope it worked? Father ha ha ha, and said I can't have my youngest son become a snob. I will give you silver ingots. Kong Ha-won said young master, what happened? Woon said what do you mean? Kong Ha-won said I heard a loud laughter coming from the pavilion. Woon thought was it heard that far? And said it was nothing. I just asked for some silver ingots from father. Kong Ha-won said wait, young master, did you choose silver ingots that aren't martial arts? Woon said is that strange? Kong Ha-won said it is very strange. You lost an opportunity to learn martial arts. When will opportunity like that come again? Woon said forget it. Just get the drill hall ready once we're back. Kong Ha-won said a drill hall? Just who and how will it be used for? Woon said you talk a lot of course it's to be used by me to train my martial arts. Kong Ha-won said pardon? Have you ever learned martial arts before? By any chance, are you trying to invite a teacher with the silver ingots you received from the cult leader? Woon said what are you on about? I'm going to use that money somewhere else. Kong Ha-won said have you decided on where to use it? Woon said I have and there's something you have to do. Recruit the people written in this list. Shouldn't I have a guard at the western quarters as well? Kong Ha-won said are these trustworthy people? Woon said that's what I know they are trustworthy. Kong Ha-won thought young master has never left the west quarters. If so, the people written on here are the people recommended by his backing. It's well worth a try. And said just leave it up to me. Woon said and there's one more thing you must do. Improve the lodgings and food of the servants staying at the west quarters. And if anyone's having a hard time in their family, help them. Kong Ha-won said do you need to go that far? It seems a bit excessive. Woon said General Kong. That why? I asked for the money from father. I told him that I wanted to improve the treatment towards the people under me. Then, I'll only use 200 liangs. Cult leader said what do you think? She said are you talking about Woon? Cult leader said why did he have to ask for silver ingots? When what Woon needs must be martial arts. She said would it be because he's looking down, instead of at himself? Woon is too much at the bottom to be looking above him. Maybe, him looking down and not up, is a natural thing for him. And more than anything, wouldn't looking down be quite a good idea? Cult leader said I think quite differently. I wonder if he may have recognized that he's at the top. In other words, he realized that there are people below him. She said then, his changed attitude and actions must be because of that too. Cult leader said that child is well aware of who he is, and what kind of position he's in. It's one of the qualities that a monarch must have. She said but cult leader, it may be a cruel thing for Woon. Cult leader said it may be, if he's a boy full of ambitions. But if that's not the case, a new path will open. She said, by any chance, are you thinking of becoming Woon's backing? Cult leader said, I don't think I can. She said, but what about him? Woon, achoo, and thought, is someone talking about me? I don't know how long it has been since I wielded my sword. Now, shall we begin? I should show my clumsy side to some extent. If there's a spy here, they can take a good look. She thought, great mountain sword arts? Whom did he learn from? General Kong? His stance is perfect, but there's no power as it does not have any internal energy. We can't use him in actual battle. It's like the seventh prince is saying that there's no need to worry because he's powerless. That's not the great mountain sword arts? Woon thought, I went overboard. I almost used phantom blades. No one would have noticed, right? She said, nice. Woon said, who is it? Girl said, sir, I've committed a grave sin. Woon said, lift up your head. I shall not punish you. What is your name? She said, I am Jiang Ian. Woon said, do you know martial arts? She said, I've learned a bit before coming to this place. Woon thought, there are a lot of people who learned martial arts here, so there's nothing strange. And said, if you learned martial arts, you will be responsible for cleaning and tidying up the drill hall from now on. She said, I shall follow your orders, young master. Main base of the Vermilion Bird Squad. Vermilion Bird Squad vice leader said, is this really the right request to make? Kong Ha-won said, young master has personally chosen it. Vice leader said, is that so? And thought, Zhou Kwang. I don't even remember his face. If he were a talented martial artist, I thought I would know everything even though I'm not the group leader. By any chance, is Zhou Kwang hiding his internal arts? And said General Kong. If there's anything you know, it will be a good idea to tell me. Kong Ha-won thought, is this squad trill arts? To think he did carry this much internal arts. Is this true? So he's saying he doesn't care what happens to the mere general of the West Quarters? He said the young master wants a guard to protect him. Vice leader said he wants a guard? Kong Ha-won said the livelihood at the West Quarters has improved recently and we are now able to hire a guard. Vice leader said, sure, that may be the case. But what I mean, why does it have to be Zhou Kwang? Kong Ha-won said, that's the livelihood at the West Quarters may have improved, but we're not in the position to invite well-known masters. Vice leader said, so you're going to hire a nameless martial artist as a guard because you lack the money? Kong Ha-won said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but that's right. Vice leader said, I get the point that you're trying to hire a nameless martial artist. But still, my question hasn't been answered completely. Kong Ha-won said, it don't know any more than this either. Vice leader said, well, sure. I shall review the young master's request. Kong Ha-won said, I express my gratitude on behalf of the young master, and thought, squad trill arts. It took 10 years of my life. Do I have to deal with 4 or more of these people in the future? After a while at night, Kong Ha-won said, young master, we need to cut ties with the person who sent you the list. Woon said, why? What's the matter? And thought, I am the one who put up that list though. Kong Ha-won said, there is not a single decent person here? Woon said, ahem, is the list that strange? Kong Ha-won said, it's not only strange. Every single person on the list is useless. At this rate, the West Quarters will become a group of problematic children. Woon thought. Although not experts, most of the people on the list are at least at the level of Haishakor Vice Captain Quan Wook. Kong Ha-won said, we can dismiss Zhou Kwang of Vermilion Bird Squad as mere ignorance because he doesn't have a name yet. But Peng Hyochung of White Tiger Squad is a lazy drunkard with rock-bottom martial arts. Woon thought, was he like that? Kong Ha-won said, Quan Hume of Red Wind Squad is a problem too. He's imprisoned in the underground prison for mutiny. Woon thought, that innocent child is in the underground prison. Kong Ha-won said, the other people are such a sight too. There's a severe thief, and even someone who liked women so much that he live in the brothel. Young master, no matter what, it seems like you have to rethink bringing them here more. Why do you wish to make them your guards? Woon thought 2 of them are the squad leaders, and the remaining 3 got promoted to vice squad leaders. And said, but well, so what? Even if you hire them and fail, don't we have nothing to lose? Even if they're unknown, are they bad people? It won't become a problem even if we expel them later. And thought, they're a bit different from what I knew. Kong Ha-won said, you certainly bring up a good point. And thought, there are people with a lot of problems, so even if we expel them suddenly, it won't affect the reputation of the West Quarters. And said then, how about we test them before hiring them? Woon said that's a good thought. Let's do that. The next morning drill hall. Person fighting saying one said I'm going to kill you. Second you bastard. Third one hey. Stop it. Woon said did they start a fight on their own? Kong Ha-won said they're people with a lot of problems. Woon said now that they've started to fight, watch them and tell me how good they are. You bastard. Kong Ha-won said that white-faced, tall man is Jong Yong's. He's nimble and agile, and has quite the technique. And Woon thought judging by his hand and feet movements, it seems the term improvisation Jong Yong's was not an exaggeration. Woon said what about that guy? Kong Ha-won said as a former member of the Red Wind squad, Kwon Hyum is trying to push his opponent down with force. And Woon thought judging by the looks of it, they've got excellent skills. And said seeing more of it will be a waste of time. It doesn't look like the fight will end easily, so you should stop them. Kong Ha-won said at your command. Kwon Hyum said you rat bastard. Jong Yong said if I were a rat bastard, you'd be a pig bastard. It's my turn now. Kwon Hyum thought he's fast, but he's light, and said I will end you now. Jong Yong said that's what I'd like to say. Kong Ha-won intervened and blocked the attack of both of them and said that's enough. Jong Yong said who is that? And thought he's a master? Kong Ha-won said I'm General Kong Ha-won of the West Quarters. Everyone, pay your greetings to the young master. They said greetings to the young master. I am Jo Kwang, I am Ha Hyumun, I am Peng Hyo Chung, I am Kwon Hyum, I am Jo Yongs. Woon said right. The reason why we called you here is to choose warrior guards of the West Quarters. Jo Yongs thought. Warrior guards of the West Quarters? Who would recognize us for that? Ha Hyumun thought I will end this moderately and go have a drink. Kong Ha-won thought they're so obviously hating it. Woon thought they're looking down on the West Quarters. It'll be a good idea to take this seriously. I plan to send those who are not selected right away to Mount Baoei. Mount Baoei? They thought if it's Mount Baoei, isn't it the place where one who climbs up will become a corpse when coming down? The frontmost line of the heavenly demon divine cult? He's sending us there just because of failing a mere warrior guard selection? Woon said first, lightly loosen up your body. Gishusok clan. Gishusok clan patriarch, Sok Junmyeong, said great cult leader and the seventh Sir. Bai Yeon said Sir Patriarch. I believe it would be best not to put so much emphasis on Sir Cult Leader's words. It's only that great cult leader is interested in the change shown by the seventh Sir. There is no reason to risk the rise and fall of the clan for only passing interest. And thought Woon does not suit the successor competition full of blood and schemes. Junmyeong said Bai Yeon, our previous great cult leader has told me that no ship can sail without wind. Bai Yeon said there is only a sliver of chance of 7th Sir winning the successor competition. Junmyeong said I am not hoping that 7th Sir shall accomplish a great deed. I am only thinking about using him as weight to break the balance. Bai Yeon said Sir Patriarch, to 7th Sir. I am worried it would be something too cruel. Junmyeong said something too cruel. Isn't getting forgotten as the powerless youngest even more cruel? Ha Hyumun thought how long are we supposed to do this? Is he testing our limits? Jong Yongs thought damn it, who expected a day and night of unceasing continuous rotating. Sparring. Kwon Hyum said if we slack off we'll get dragged into Mount Baoei, right? Kong Ha-won said that'll be it for today's exam. Everybody, head back to your sites and rest. Woon said so how is it, Director Kong? Aren't they quite alright after looking them over? Kong Ha-won said they're not just quite alright, and thought his looks aren't just good. What kind of people are they to find talents like these? And said if they learn from an excellent expert I think they will become stronger than most of the team captain level martial artist. Woon said so I do have to bring someone to teach. Kong Ha-won thought are the people behind young Sir going to make a move? Woon said but they had one condition on their side. Kong Ha-won said what is it, that condition? Woon said that they will teach the bodyguards in an underground training room, and make it so that they can't see each other's faces. Kong Ha-won said could anyone teach properly without looking at each other's face? Woon thought isn't there only that way if I'm the one who's going to teach? The next morning training field. Jo Kwang said not yet for young Sir. Kwon Hyum said seems like it. Jong Yong said what kind of test will it be for today? Kwon Hyum said hey, you alright? Jong Yong said since there's no reason for me to go to Mount Baoei, no reason for me to get worried, is there? Peng Hyo Chung said did you say your name was Jo Kwang? He said yes. Peng Hyo-chung said you will probably survive. Jo Kwang said I will. Peng Hyo-chung said since young sir seems to have a great deal of interest in you, at the very least, you're not going to get dragged into Mount Baoei. Ha Human said you're not believing in that well-packaged lie, right? Kong Ha-won said attention. Is everyone ready? All of them said we're ready. Kong Ha-won said it is great to hear your loud voices. Then come closer. All of them said yes, sir. Kwon Hyum thought I don't really like the bodyguard or whatever, but I can't get dragged into Mount Baoei. Jong Yong said working under the kid is 100 times better than heading to Mount Bao. Kong Ha-won said young sir has decided to show you all mercy and has passed all 5 of you. Show your gratitude. All of them said all pass. Thank you, young sir. Woon said but, there are conditions. Peng Hyen-chung. He said yes, young sir. Woon said no drinking from today. Peng Hyen-chung said what do you mean no drinking? Woon said the reason you're lacking accomplishments is due to alcohol. Peng Hyen-chung said young sir, I have indeed missed a few trainings, but it is not because of alcohol. Please believe in me. Woon said sure. Then I will give you a chance to prove your word in 10 days. I will believe you if you spar against Jo Kwang and win after 10 days. Peng Hyen-chung said understood. After 10 days, I will take down Jo Kwang and drink all I want. Jo Kwang said what? Woon said Kwon Hyum. I've heard that you enjoy fighting. Kwon Hyum said it's not that I enjoy fighting, there's just many people who ask for trouble. Woon said why do you think they ask for trouble? It's because you start fights. I forbid you from needless fighting from now on. Peng Hyen-chung said young sir, I'm still not finished. If you'd been strong they wouldn't have asked to fight you. I will give you a chance to prove yourself in 5 days. Kwon Hyum is that chance. Sparring with Jo Kwang? Woon said that's right. Jo Kwang said young sir? Woon said Ha Human, I've heard that you've habits with your hands. If you cause trouble here I will cut down your limbs. Ha Human said young sir, I will fix my habits, but please take back that extreme punishment. Woon said good, then I will give you a chance as well. After half a month, win in a spar against Jo Kwang. Jong Yong said your subordinate shall stay far from women if I lose. No, I shall not even hold the hand of a woman. Woon said good. Spar after a month. You will not be able to meet a woman until then. Jong Yong said as you wish. All 4 of them thought it's no problem winning against that nerd. Woon said then head back. Jo Kwang thought what is 7th sir thinking to make me? Woon said Jo Kwang. As for you, follow me. Western Quarters Underground Training Room. An expert we've invited is going to teach martial arts to you here. Jo Kwang said I am going to learn martial arts here? Woon said yes, it won't be difficult to face the 4 of them if you learn from him. We'll need to clean up the training room before that. Jo Kwang said when can I start learning? I would like to receive teaching at least before fighting Kwon Hyum. Woon said you mean you can't win now? Jo Kwang said I am ashamed but that's correct. Woon said you're too honest. A man needs to have some bluff in him. Jo Kwang thought is he an old soul or what? Woon said remember, if you get pushed back in your attitude, you will not be able to show your skills, however much of an expert you are. It will be good to ease up for now. Let's begin the training in 2 days. Jo Kwang thought I will destroy the shell called normal this time. I will definitely become strong. Woon said then head back up. First, I have things to do here. Jo Kwang said as you wish. Woon said you can come out now. She said I am sorry. Woon said it's fine, never mind that. Did you say you're learning martial arts? And thought knowing someone's origin is an important thing here. I would like to see the martial arts you've learned. And thought would this child be a tiger's cub? She said young sir, with these clothes. Woon said it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to see what level you are. She said understood. Woon thought become a loyal disciple. I'm excited. Isn't that Black Wolf leopard fists? How does she know that fist technique? There aren't a lot of places that use Black Wolf leopard fists in the Heavenly Demon Divine cult. This is troublesome. She's not from the Great Mountain No, is she? The Great Mountain No clan is connected to 4th brother. Woon said stop. She said I am sorry to show lacking form to your sir. Woon said you've learned the Black Wolf leopard fists. Who did you learn it from? She said I have learned it from my uncle. Woon said uncle. She said yes, his name is Jai Yongcheol. He works as the 12th team captain of the White Tiger Corps. Woon said I can trust him. if he's the White Tiger Core. How about sword techniques? She said I can deploy the Great Mountain Sword technique. Woon said how long has it been since you've come to the Western Quarters? She said it's been 3 years. Woon thought if it's 3 years, she's been here for a while. Why do not I remember her face? And said eat this first. She said young sir. This is. 5 days later. Training field. Ha Human said who's going to win? Peng Hyo-chung said I'm sorry for Jo Kwang but Kwon Hyum will probably win. Ha Human said though Jo Kwang wasn't showing his face lately. Peng Hyo-chung said could he be learning some weird moves from somewhere? They're here. Woon said you were already here. Kwon Hyum said your subordinate has finished all preparations and has been waiting for. Young sir? Woon said is Jo Kwang ready as well? Jo Kwang said yes, sir. Jong Nyong said what's this? I don't see emotions on his face. His looks changed too. Kwon Hyum not going to lose, is he? Woon said let's begin immediately. Kang Ha-won said draw your swords? The two of you here will face off with real swords. If the match is not concluded within an hour, I will decide the result. Then begin? Kwon Hyum thought an hour. And said I will end you within 10 forms? And thought seeing dodges it seems his foundations are quite good at least. And said if that's the case, here I go, this will be the end. He recalled the memory of 3 days ago Western Quarters basement training room. Jo Kwang thought when I was young, I heard compliments that I had excellent martial talents many times. But however much I flail around, I'm just a single martial artist in here. This training is the chance given to me by the heavens. I will grow into a first-rate martial artist. And he said young. Sir, Jo Kwang is here. She said please come in. You've arrived. Jo Kwang thought huh? This young woman is. And said do you happen to be my teacher? She said I am not. Please come this way. Woon said you've come. He said I, Jo Kwang, greet my teacher. And thought this voice. It's difficult to guess even the gender alone. Woon said I have heard that you use a sword. Jo Kwang said at the Vermilion Bird Corps I have learned the Great Mountain Sword technique and Killian Sword technique. Woon said techniques as your opponent is from the Red Wind Corps, he will use the Autumn Wind Sword technique. Jo Kwang said yes. Woon said the forms of the Autumn Wind Sword technique are 32 in total. And among them, the third form's called Autumn Spirit, Setting Moon. Jaeyong Ian, please. Demonstrate. Jo Kwang thought she was a girl that practiced martial arts. A clean movement. Woon said most certainly, your opponent will use this fourth form within 3 forms. Can you draw your sword and repeat this form now? Jo Kwang said I will try. Woon said how is Jo Kwang form? She said his steps are improper. Jo Kwang said no way, please give me a moment. Woon said as expected, not a genius. His talents are average. Jo Kwang said I now understand what was wrong there. Woon said good then. Try deploying that form towards that child now. Jo Kwang said but I am holding a real sword right now. She could get hurt if anything goes. Woon said I know. She said please go ahead. Jo Kwang said here I go. Kwon Hyum said here I go. This will be the end. Then Jo Kwang used the sword technique that are taught by the Woon and that he practiced with the girl for last 3 days. Kang Ha-won said the winner of the spar is Jo Kwang. Ha Human said it's already over? Who was next again? Peng Hyun-chung said it's me. I'll have to prepare well then. Jong Yong said that move, I'm sure one by you has. He has perfectly deconstructed Kwon Hyum Autumn Spirit, Setting Moon. If this was a real fight Kwon Hyum would have lost his life. In 1 month. I have to go surpass that guy. Woon said I forbid Kwon Hyum from needless fights for 3 years from now. If you can fight and win against Jo Kwang after 3 years I will release your restriction. Both said as you wish. Woon said this is it for today's spar. You're released? Kang Ha-won said I didn't think he would take him down within 3 forms. It seems like someone who's far better than I expected is teaching. Woon said right? And thought that's me, you know, me. Kang Ha-won said is it actually the Gishusok clan? Woon said that would be great, but not at the moment. Never mind that. What about the news from the Qingxia Hill? For Zhang Moon. Kang Ha-won said according to the person who works with him, he is practicing martial arts day in and day out. Maybe because of that, when I went out looking for him a few days ago, I couldn't even see him. Woon thought did he fall into the Converging Clouds hard arts, or is he focusing to forget the fact he was relegated? Well, doesn't matter either way, so long as he can get stronger. That evening Woon said, why do you look saddened even though you have won? Zhou Guang said, could I ask a question? Woon said, I will allow it. Zhou Guang said, how did you know the fact that Quan Hume would use the autumn spirit, setting moon within 3 forms? Woon said, why did you become curious now, all of a sudden? Zhou Guang said, I wasn't fully sure at the beginning, but after experiencing it I got curious. Woon said, I have seen you face each other the other day. As Quan Hume personality is violent and impatient, I thought that he would try to decide the match immediately. Zhou Guang thought so. 7th Sir, having us spar each other on the first day was for teacher to figure out our strengths and weaknesses? Does that mean calling us 5 was all according to plan? Certainly, an expert's thoughts are broader than ours. But that reason is within what I can guess myself. And so I too would have been able to find a countermeasure. Certainly, I wouldn't have been confident of victory like I am this time though. Woon said, you don't seem comfortable even after hearing the answer. Zhou Guang said, I truly am sorry. Woon said, do you think that you've won through my abilities? Zhou Guang said, that is correct. I don't believe that I am that much stronger than him to finish the match within 3 forms. Woon said, do you know the difference between those who learned martial arts and those who didn't? Zhou Guang said, do you mean the difference in strength? Woon said, it's the difference in knowledge. Those who learns martial arts learn about how to win against their opponent. You've learned how to win from me. Do you still don't get it? Zhou Guang said, my heart isn't moving. I am unable to accept it. Woon said, then there will be no other training today. Wall meditate by yourself until you gain the answer to that here. Woon said, the wind is cold. She said, it's winter soon. Woon said, what do you think? She said, I thought that it was a teaching that if you already know what forms the opponents would use, you can easily respond and win against them. Woon said, still far away. Think about it more. She said, understood. She thought, however, what I am truly curious about is you, young sir. And she recalled a memory when Woon said it this first. She said, young sir, this is restriction, my apologies. Please forgive me. I do not know what I did wrong, but I cannot eat this. Woon said, seems like there's a misunderstanding. What I've given you is one of the pills known as the 7-star pills. If you take one of the 7-star pills every year, you can earn 30 years of inner ki. I will give you 1 pill every year so that you don't think otherwise. However, if you miss even one from the 7, you will lose all of your inner strength you have, and all of your hair will fall out, rendering you unable to live as a woman. She thought, even if it isn't a lethal poison, the principle is the same. It's still a restriction in the end. Is it an unavoidable fate as long as I've become a divine cult member? Her thought continued, I will follow, young sir. But I want to know just one thing. Why me? However much he was born of a noble clan, when he's only a 12-year-old boy his mind is already as broad and deep as this night sky. Young sir, what kind of a person are you truly? Next day Woon said, I would like to hear the answer to my question. Since you're still in the middle of wall meditation, just answer without turning around. Zhou Guang said, know your enemy, know yourself. No losses shall follow in 100 battles. There will be no perilousness if I know myself and my opponent. For knowing my opponent, by knowing their personality, preferences, and everything beyond all that, one can truly say that they know. And knowing the opponent is the foundation of a victory, and the process of acting upon the knowledge itself is already the beginning of a fight. Meaning, you must be already fighting before your fight, is what I was thinking of as the teaching you have given me. Woon said, as I thought, good, then try winning your next spar on your own. 4 days later Kong Haewon said they said that the meeting this time has been cancelled. Woon said, really? Looks like father is very busy. Kong Haewon said, it seems that the movement from Kunlun looked unusual. Woon thought in the future the Kunlun sect will fight the divine cult 3 times and lose twice. Among those, the time Kunlun sect won the fight was only in the year I turned 20. And he said if the opponents are Kunlun it's not something to be that worried about. Kong Haewon thought this relaxedness is even if he's young, the blood of a noble clan is different, I suppose. Woon thought, from what I've heard, it seems that in the last 5 days the 4 excluding Zhou Guang have come up with a plan after putting their heads together. Of course they should. Kong Haewon said, are you ready? They say yes, sir. Woon thought, if they do not do at least that, what shall I punish that foolishness with? The problem is whether Zhou Guang can go beyond their schemes. Woon thought Quan Hume wasn't difficult as he is simple-minded, but the other 3 are not the case. I can guess how Peng Hyangsheng would act, but the issue still ends with Zhou Kuang. This time, there were no other orders aside from the wall meditation. Truly, was he able to materialize his realization? Kong Hawan said then begin the spar. Kong Hawan said that is? Woon said what's wrong? Kong Hawan said Peng Hianchung is deploying the Red Wind Sword technique of the Red Dragon Corps. Wasn't Peng Hianchung from the White Tiger Corps? Woon said that is correct. Peng Hianchung though there's no counter-attack? Damn it, is he planning on just defending? Did you actually have no plans to attack from the beginning? Woon thought the winner is already settled. I'm truly foolish. Can't be this full of doubts. Who could you ever trust if you can't trust a martial artist who has obtained enlightenment? 5 days ago Peng Hianchung said Zhou Kuang deceived us. He is at least 2 steps ahead of us. Quan Hume said underhanded bastard. Ha Human said a loss is a loss. Quan Hume said instead of doing all this, how about putting our heads together? Peng Hianchung said right, even an empty paper is better stacked together. Zhang Yang said that guy not an empty paper, just an idiot. Quan Hume said what? Oh it's gonna be your day today? Zhang Yang said do you really want to go to Mount Baoyi? Peng Hianchung said if it's a strong opponent, there is no other option but to go all out as early as possible. Ha Human said I disagree. If we hurry like Quan Hume, we'll end up revealing an opening. Zhang Yang said I've got an idea for that, but Peng Hianchung said what is it? Zhang Yang said why should I tell you? What am I supposed to do in a month then? Quan Hume said I'm really gonna get this pretty boy like. Peng Hianchung said we will help you then. I shall make a vow. If I win with your help, I will pay back this debt one day. Woon thought it looks like the 4 accepted their difference in skill with Zhou Kuang and have prepared a strategy to switch their martial arts around so he makes wrong predictions. Ha Human said he's got 1 form left. Quan Hume said I think he came already knowing all of our strategies. Woon said they should have only learned 4 of 5 forms at most, but it is already commendable they share their martial arts with each other. However, Zhou Kuang has already predicted that and currently allocating 9/10 of his strength in defense. Kong Hawan said won't he lose in the end by just defending? Woon said that won't be the case. All the way until now, Zhou Kuang had the absolute upper hand. If both are of similar levels, there is no way to win against someone who can defend 9/10 of the attacks. Peng Hianchung said oh shoot. Zhou Kuang said now. Zhang Yang said that's the Red Wind Corpse Autumn Spirit, Setting Moon. Woon said Zhou Kuang wins. As promised, Peng Hianchung is forbidden from drinking from now. At this rate, I think the result of the spar with Ha Human is gonna be obvious, no? Kong Hawan said Ha Human uses a spear. No matter what, he has the advantage as he has the benefit of reach. And thought but will that actually be true? 5 days later Woon said Zhou Kuang won. Kong Hawan said it looks like I've underestimated Zhou Kuang. Zhang Yang's thought normally, the important part of a battle between a spear and a sword is distance. If Zhou Kuang cannot close the distance, I thought that Ha Human had a chance to win but no way, this guy, did he know about that? And intentionally not close the distance? How far is he able to see? Kong Hawan said the spear has the benefit of a reach, but it has the disadvantage of weight as well. We can look at this spar as Zhou Kuang doing well but dragging out this spar into an endurance match. Woon thought that is not the only reason Ha Human lost. Because Ha Human thought if he allowed him to approach he would lose, he kept him at a distance by continuously swinging his spear around. Zhou Kuang read that psychology of his, and intentionally controlled his distance to tire him out. And said as he was overwhelmed by the fear of losing from the start, we was robbed of the psychological advantage. That is the biggest reason for the loss. Do you understand, Ha Human? It has already been 50 days since reaching the deep sweat stage. Now, Myung Woon's inner core has grown beyond the size of a section of a finger. The High Sky Heart Arts moves the inner core with the lower key core as its center, and it has the pros of having quick achievements in the early stages. However, winning one is always accompanied by losing one. When one trains by focusing on the lower key core, difficulty arises in opening the middle key core. Knowing this, the 9 Sex 1 Guild slanders that Chaos Sex martial arts are difficult to attain greatness, but what's most important in the end is the stage of realization called the upper key center. In his last life, Myung Woon had reached right at the doorstep of that stage. Woon thought it is already a path, I've walked once. This time, I will go beyond that step. Next day. Morning. Woon said what is it, from morning? Kong Ha-won said it looks like there will be a big fight at the Kunlun soon. They said that second sir is leading the conquest army. Woon thought Myung-gok is Myung-gok already entering the front line? And said is the Sword Spirit Corps also joining as well? Kong Ha-won said that happens to be the case. The Sword Spirit Corps of second sir will stand vanguard, and White Tiger Corps will support their backs, is what they said. And so, I want to tell you that on the day second sir is deployed, how about going out to the castle gates to cheer him on? Woon thought me, cheering Myung-gok? You mean to cheer my fated enemy who killed me? Of course Myung-gok will win. It mustn't be a bad choice to stand on the side of the winner. However, Woon said Director Kong, I'm thinking of not taking your opinion into consideration this time. Kong Ha-won said could I ask you the reason why? Woon said second brother is someone with a lot of suspicions. It's fine if he is just suspicious. But if he starts noticing me, it will be problematic. Right now, we must grow our strength and wait for an opportunity. Kong Ha-won said I understood young sir. Woon said and so, there's one thing I need you to do. Kong Ha-won said what would that be? Woon said go to the White Tiger Corps and purchase the Nak-san Manor. Western Quarters Underground Training Room. Jo Kwang is training with the sword and Kyung-eun see how he is progressing. She said it's Kyung-eun, young sir. Woon said come on in. How is Jo Kwang doing? She said he is focusing on his training alone today as well. Woon said really? Then there won't be many more days of me teaching Jo Kwang. She said it will be different for the other four, yes? Woon said they do need more teaching. She recalled the memory when Jo Kwang said thank you. She said it seems like you've completely become someone else than before. Jo Kwang said is that so? Then it is likely due to me obtaining a small realization. She thought realization, what could that be? Jo Kwang said although I have not seen him much, teacher has given me realization. She thought teacher. However, there aren't many teachers who give a realization with just a few words. She said young sir, please bestow me with teaching as well? Woon said teaching? She said yes, even if it is something small. Although I am a daughter of an average farming family, I luckily caught the eyes of my uncle, who is a martial artist, and was able to learn martial arts from a young age. However, even if I wanted to learn more, I had to stand still as there were no more teachings. If you grant me any teachings at all, I intend on advancing forward by learning even a single phrase. Woon said what is your reason for doing this suddenly? She said do excuse me but I had a feeling that I wanted to become strong, just like Jo Kwang. Woon said it won't be easy. Are you prepared? She said of course, sir. Woon said then lift your head, and kneel one of your legs. When requesting teaching in the divine cult, one kneels down on one of their knees. When the teacher puts their hand on their head, one is accepted as a disciple, and if they do not get accepted. This is the right of accepting students in the divine cult. She said young sir. Is this not the teacher-disciple right? I've only. Woon said and so, I will ask. Kyung-eun, may I take you in as my first disciple? She said how could it I be? Is Jo Kwang not the first? Woon said since he has not completed the rite. Never mind that, I've yet to hear your answer. She said I shall serve you as my master until the day I die. Woon said I'll be looking forward to it as well. Few days later Woon said well then, did he say he won't sell till the end? Kong Ha-won said I've most certainly made a fair offer. White Tiger Corps Commander, Jo Jijin said are you really asking us to hand over the Nak-san Manor? Kong Ha-won said we do not mean for you to just hand it over, Commander. How about 1,000 liang of silver? And thought since it's a small manor that's enough money. And said 7th Sir wishes for it dearly. Please listen to the wishes of the Sir who continues the blood of the Myung clan. Jo Jijin said if he wants it so dearly, why didn't young sir come here himself? I cannot allow it, Director, return back. Woon thought Commander Jo personally refused it himself, then, and said Director Kong, call over the bodyguard right now. Kong Ha-won said what? Why do you need them for? Woon said is it not obvious what a warrior is to do? A few moments later, Woon said I will now give you your first mission. They all said yes, sir. Woon said as we shall head to the White Tiger Corps right now, hurry up and get prepared. Pang. He and Chung said White Tiger Corps? Jong Yong said feels off for some reason. Woon said if we can't haggle, I have no choice but to taunt. Peng Hianchung said we were not heading to the White Tiger Corps to stir trouble, right? No way. Jojijin said 7th Sir came himself this time? Servant said that's correct, sir. Jojijin said seems like he really wants to get his hands on this small manor. Should I tell him to go back? Third son of the heavenly demon divine cult leader Myungsheng, Myungwon. He said since Woon is requesting to see you, do as such. Jojijin said could I do that? Myungwon said yes, I will listen. From behind. And thought I'm curious what Woon is thinking. Jojijin said if that's what young sir wishes. Bring 7th Sir inside. Cheju said I've heard that 7th Sir's actions have been suspicious. Myungwon said are you talking about him taking in 5 troublemakers from each corps? Cheju said not only that, there's a rumor that he has contacted the Black Tortoise Corps and connected with his Husok clan. Myungwon said Black Tortoise Corps, you're thinking too lightly of June. And thought as 4th brother is full of jealousy, he's not the type to share anything at all. Well, that goes the same for me though. Right now, it's already too much to catch up to the 2 ahead of me. 7th Sir is coming in. Woon said I greet the commander. Jojijin said for what did you come all the way here for? Director Kong. Woon said over here came back empty-handed. Jojijin said you're talking about the Nak-san Manor. Please take a seat first. I don't know if you knew this, but Nak-san Manor is a key base for our White Tiger Corps. If we lose that place, it's effectively the same as the White Tiger Corps losing an entire arm. Kong Hawon thought a small manor being an arm of the White Tiger Corps. He's treating him like a child who knows nothing of the world. And said really? Nak-san Manor is somewhere that important? Jojijin said yes, the White Tiger Corps is making all the weapons with the iron ores mined at the Nak-san Manor. So about this one. Woon said then I'll give you the iron ores that come from the Nak-san Manor for free. It's the White Tiger Corps that fights for our divine cult after all, we should at least do that. Kong Hawon said young sir? And whisper not even half price, what do you mean for free? Woon whispered Director Kong, aren't I talking right now? Watch your words. Jojijin thought he's burning on the inside since a child yapping on without knowing anything of the world. Honestly, it's not a bad offer. However, even if he's just a child, he's still Sir Cult Leader's son in the end. If I put him next to me, annoying things are bound to happen. Jojijin said thank you for your offer but, the White Tiger Corps numbers 500 in personnel alone, and the Citadel's number 32 as well. What would people say if we received the support of the Western quarters? So please turn a blind eye over this one. Woon said no, I can't accept that. Jojijin said then what will you do, sir? Woon said how about we decide it with a bet? Jojijin said a bet? Woon said a bet of 5 of the White Tiger members fighting my 5 bodyguard warriors, and the side that gets to 3 wins first wins. If I win the Nak-san Manor will become the property of the Western quarters, and if I lose, I will back off. Kong Hawon thought from the point of the White Tiger Corps it's a senseless bet. Back to base if they win, and a massive humiliation if they lose. Myungwon thought requesting a bet with 5 idiots, how ridiculous. A moment later, Myungwon said Woon had made an entertaining offer. Jojijin said it's not that entertaining of an offer. Looking down on us after just taking in 5 drifters. Myungwon said could he be confident in their skills? Jojijin said Jangjuk, call Team 7 now. White Tiger Squad sparring field. Kong Hawon said I didn't think the White Tiger commander would accept. Woon said Jojaejin is a calm and collected man, but he is a martial artist in the end. He would have wanted to tie this up with strength. Kong Hawon thought you mean that a 12-year-old boy saw through the commander's nature? And said but it was too much this time. Woon said what was too much for you? Kong Hawon said their difference in skill is too much. Woon said do you really think so? Kong Hawon said along with the Vermilion Bird Corps, Azure Dragon Corps, and Black Tortoise Corps, the White Tiger Corps is an elite corps called the 4 Divine Corps of the Divine Cult. On top of that, the White Tiger Corps has the most real experience among the 4 Divine Corps. It's not an opponent they can win against. Woon said wasn't Peng Hianchung part of the White Tiger Corps as well? Kong Hawon said well that's true but. Woon said Director Kong, between Peng Hianchung a month ago and Peng Hianchung now, which one is better? Kong Hawon said of course, present him is better. Woon said not only Peng Hianchung, but all 5 of them have been working hard steadily to win against each other. Unless a captain level shows up, it won't be so easy. Kang Ha-won thought what young sir is saying has some truth to it. However, Woon said, do you know about Sun Bin? Kang Ha-won said, is he not the descendant of Sun Tzu and the strategist who wrote Sun Bin's Art of War? The one who came up with the 3-horse strategy. The 3-horse strategy. In carriage racing you divide the horses that pull the carts into higher, middle, and lower ranks. Lower ranking horse against higher ranking horse, 1 loss. Higher ranking horse against middle ranking horse, 1 win. Middle ranking horse against lower ranking horse, 1 win. You match them as such to win 2-1. It is this strategy to win. Kang Ha-won said, are you thinking of using the 3-horse strategy? Woon said similar. However, unlike the 3-horse strategy, we have to win the first match as well. Since I plan on settling this in just 3 matches. They said, you've arrived, manager. Kang Ha-won said, are you ready? And thought they're full of fear. And said, do you think that your opponent is strong? Peng Hyun-chung said, we have no chance if we go against the White Tiger Corps' upper 5 teams. Jong Yong said, coward. Kwon Hyum said, oh, that mouth of his. Woon thought, Director Kang, your role is important in this plan. Since rather than the words of a 12-year-old boy, they will trust you, the Western Quarter's greatest expert. More. Kang Ha-won said, of course, the White Tiger Corps is strong. However, in the last month, you all have obsessed over winning over anything, and that obsession has improved you all. Would I ever send you to death without any reason? I will be frank, I do not doubt our victory. Woon said. The air changed. As expected of Director Kang. Kang Ha-won said, and so, the first of our Western Quarters will be. Woon said, our first will be Ha-Humun. Kang Ha-won said, what? Would Ha-Humun be a middle-ranking horse? That's a bit different from the 3-horse strategy that I know. Woon said, the core of 3-horse strategy is knowing the enemy and knowing yourself. The opponents first will not be a high-ranking horse, since they are certain of victory. Kang Ha-won thought, fair, since even I expected our loss. Woon said, we do not have the chance to lose the first match. Tell Ha-Humun to do their best and make sure to win. He's skilled enough to do that. Kang Ha-won said, the first of our Western Quarters is Ha-Humun. You? He thought, I am the first? Kang Ha-won said, I picked you as the first because I think you are strong. You got a problem with my choice? Ha-Humun said, no sir. Kang Ha-won said, have no doubt. If you try your best, you will certainly win no matter who comes out. Ha-Humun said, I will be sure to win. The opponent has arrived. Those are the White Tiger Corps Team 7? Kang Ha-won said, I didn't think he would call Team 7, the best of White Tiger Corps. Woon said, would the average ones come out when the commander is having a bet? Match referee said, well, begin the spar. There is no time limit in today's spar. When you inflict a critical hit on your opponent, or when one pushes the opponent outside of the drawn line, you win. Then first representative, please come out. He said, I am Western Quarters representative, Ha-Humun. The opponent said, my name's Ju Pyo, from White Tiger Corps Team 7. Myung-won said, Cheju, wanna bet as well? Cheju said, no money's going to be put on an obvious match. Myung-won said, do you really believe so? Referee said, begin. Ha-Humun thought, let's see his speed first. Ju Pyo said, kid, I'll teach you how to cook a spear. Ha-Humun thought, he is fast. I will lose if I fall back. Myung-won said, that lad with the spear, he's not falling back. On top of that, it looks like he won't allow any approach beyond the current distance. Cheju said, would it really happen as he wishes? Myung-won said, we will see. Jojijin said, you can't even penetrate that clumsy defensive wall. What are you doing right now? Ju Pyo, finish it now. Woon said, Ha-Humun, he's holding out with divergent forms. Kang Ha-won said, he's saving his stamina by only increasing his speed when it's difficult. Ju Pyo thought, already 30 forms on a newbie. This isn't good. And said, to think I'd use the flying sage mark against you. I will make you regret meeting me. Kang Ha-won said, that's flying sage mark. It's a highest class body lightning technique that only a small portion even within the White Tiger Corps learns. Ju Pyo said, you're finally falling back. You've held out quite well, but this is it, newbie. Kang Ha-won said, Ha-Humun's spear is not able to catch up to Ju Pyo's speed. Woon said, it looks like he's intentionally not taking it on. Kang Ha-won said, what do you mean, sir? Woon said, wouldn't he be looking for an opportunity? Ju Pyo thought flying sage mark didn't actually work. Is not he using the spacing to expend my stamina? I will lose at this rate. Then, captain of 7th team said Ju Pyo, don't go in so rashly, but Ju Pyo used setting moon, conquering sword. Ha. Humun said I won't fall back anymore. Now, go. Kong Hwan said that last spear strike is the hidden technique of the Azure Dragon Core. Woon said seems like he exploded his inner strength at once to increase his speed. Few days ago, Woon said there's one thing I need you to do for me, go to the White Tiger Core and purchase the Nak-san manor. 1,000 liang should be enough. Kong Hwan said you mean that small manor? Why that place? We still have a lot of places to spend money on. All we have is 1,240 liang. Woon said we need a manor to fully focus on martial arts training. Body lightning or stealth. Activities are too much to do at the western quarters, isn't it? The reason I asked for money from father is all because of Nak-san manor, too. Kong Hwan said don't think you're at the level to train body lightning yet. Woon said what's wrong if I just buy it ahead of time? Kong Hwan said but we can't even farm as the ground is infertile as Nak-san manor is between mines. Never mind food, we can't even produce horse hay. If you really need a manor, we could look for another. Woon said they told me to buy it. Said that it'll be a big help to us. And thought there are gold ores buried around Nak-san manor. Later down the line, it became a big help to the White Tiger Corps. If I'm going to grow my forces I need even more funds. Kong Hwan said I'll be right back. Woon said when did you start listening to them so well? Referee said the first round goes to Western Quarters. Woon said you're grown. He said I've only tried my best. Kong Hwan said next is you, Zhang Yongs. Are you confident? Zhang Yang said I think I'll know only after I fight them. Quan Hume thought is he also nervous? Kong Hwan said definitely, someone stronger than Ju Pyo will come out. Zhang Yangs thought Ju Pyo was certainly someone strong. And someone even stronger than him. Huh. Kong Hwan said relax yourself Zhang. Kong Hwan said Young Sir said that if you win this duel you will be freed from sparring with Zhou Kuang. Zhang Yang said really? Kong Hwan said forget about the results and only focus on the opponent. You have the talent. Zhang Yang said I will make sure to win. Li Zhong said bring stretchers. Ju Pyo said my apologies. Li Zhong said stop talking. You might bleed more. Zhou Jijin said losing from the first round. Captain Li, a single mistake is enough? Li Zhong said there won't be a second mistake. I will send out Zhang Kuang. Referee said the second representative, come out? He said I am Zhang Yangs of the Western Quarters. And opponent said my name is Zhang Kuang, from White Tiger Corps Team 7. Kong Hwan said their looks of being off guard has disappeared. Woon said we'll have to think that the Nak-san manor is bet on this duel. Kong Hwan said what? There's still 3 more left after this. Woon said no, Peng Hian-chung and Quan Hume cannot reach Team 7 yet. If we're to seize the chance to victory quickly, Zhang Yangs, we need you to win. Was he able to shake off his fear of losing? Referee said begin. Zhang Yang said even the White Tiger Corps Team 7 ain't much when I actually go up against them. Zhang Kuang said what you say? Thought I am not someone to fall for that kind of taunt. Zhou Jijin said your loss shall be the White Tiger Corps loss. Stay on guard, hold steadfast and look for the opponent's opening. Myung Won said are both of them focused on not losing? They seem to be only acting defensively. Cheju said wouldn't one of them try to settle it in the end? Myung Won said who knows, I'm about to yawn at this point. Zhang Kuang said where do you? Zhang Yang said now. Zhang Kuang said prepare yourself. Zhang Yang said tisk, missed by half an inch. There won't be a second mistake? Myung Won said one of them broke his silence. Cheju said it seems that the Western Quarters has many good martial artists. Myung Won said is it Woon who raised them, or Kong Hwan? Cheju said of course, wouldn't it be Director Kong? Woon said looks like I set the orders just right. Prepare for the next. Kong Hwan said it's too early to be certain. Woon said Zhang Yangs is the one who wants to win more. Not saying by only looking at that, Zhang Yangs said here I go. And used diverging form? Fainting form? Referee said Western Quarters victory? Zhou Jijin said Zhang Kuang is not able to show even half of his skill? Is he unable to fight against this only much pressure? Li Zhong said I've nothing to say. Myung Won said it is true that the White Tiger Corp was unable to show their real skills since they were grasped by pressure. the last 3 attacks shown by the Western quarters, its diverging form and feinting form was quite excellent. I can't just ignore him just because he's the youngest anymore. So long as Kong Ha-won is next to him, that is. Kong Ha-won said well done. Zhang Yang said thank you. Peng Hianchung said why are you gloomy, even though you've won? Ha-hu-mun thought while Zhang Yang's fought with all he had, he noticed where he was lacking. His head must be full of his mistakes rather than the victory. Just like I am. Kong Ha-won said since they've lost twice in a row, the White Tiger Corps will send out their highest grade horse. Though there isn't anything you've ordered to Zhou Kuang. Woon said even if a captain level comes out, there isn't anything. I've left to tell him. And thought he is a martial artist who obtained a realization. He's the strongest card we can show anyways. It's his burden in the end. Referee said third representative, please come on out. He said I am Zhou Kuang of the Western Quarters. His opponent said I am Kong Eok of the White Tiger Corps Team 7. Kong Eok said I will fight with the White Tiger Corps honor and my life on the line. Zhou Kuang thought that edge. Is it meant to break the opponent's sword? Myung Won said the White Tiger Corps side this time certainly reeks of blood. Cheju said the Western Quarters representative doesn't look that strong. Myung Won said really? And thought Woon is still young and does not know martial arts. Today's battle must be constructed by Kong Ha-won. I don't know what he's thinking to do all this. Referee said then, well begin the spar. Kong Eok said coming. And thought his footwork is good. Cheju said he's diverting the sword. Myung Won said that's a move impossible to do unless you can predict the direction and speed of the sword strike. Kong Ha-won said seems like Zhou Kuang has grown yet another stage. Woon said is it not what he showed already when he faced Kwon Hume? Kong Ha-won said that is true but while Kwon Hume was a repeat opponent, Woon said today, even though it's an opponent and a weapon he's seeing for the first time it seems that he's already done with figuring it out. Woon thought Zhou Kuang's talent was that he's got good eyes. He does not have the adaptiveness like Zhang Yang's, but his ability to analyze his opponent is excellent. Was it a talent that was going to bloom one day in the end? Kong Ha-won said but he's getting pushed back in spirit. I think he's too passive. Woon said who knows, he should have a plan when he's falling back that much. Cheju said that lad is having too much fun. There's nowhere left for him to fall back. Myung Won said really? Thought it feels like fighting inside a fog. Since even I can't see that man's intentions. He's definitely being pushed back, but he's not being pushed back in spirit. Is it a luring plan? And said Kong Ha-won, you've collected some entertaining guys. Kong Eok thought what is this feeling? My attacks feel too easy. Like cutting tofu. Even that doesn't feel like I'm the one cutting, but my opponent coming in to get cut himself. What does it matter? If I push him just one more step it's our White Tiger Corps victory? Kong Eok said now. I will smash your sword into pieces. Take this. Kong Ha-won said the wind is cold, sir. Woon said winter is supposed to be cold. Kong Ha-won said it will be first morning soon. Woon said I'll be turning 13 then. Keep forgetting. Kong Ha-won thought he keeps talking like an old man. And said 5th sir will be done with his phase by this year's end. Woon said time flies quickly. And thought in the Myung clan, you must become independent at age 18. And said what did 5th brother say he will do? Kong Ha-won said I've heard he's headed to Daean region. Woon thought Daean region, it's the northernmost region of the divine cult that faces Mongolia. Woon said it's not that dangerous of a place. Kong Ha-won said seems that Red Wind Corps commander's influence is the reason. Since 5th sir had the Red Wind Corps as his background. Woon thought I should have a definite background myself soon as well. Is that what you mean? Kong Ha-won said won't you have to choose the direction now? Woon said you mean the Gishusok clan? Kong Ha-won said your subordinate believes that would be the best. Woon said is Zhang Moon still secluding himself? Kong Ha-won said I will keep trying. And the White Tiger Corps has sent documents. Woon said really, Commander Zhou has kept his promise. Kong Ha-won said and so, I wanted to ask. Are you planning to move the residence to Nak-san Manor immediately? Woon said that's right. We can't stay under the damning palace forever. We will have to become independent one day too. Think of this as preparation for that. Kong Ha-won said if that's what young sir thinks. Then please give me time until spring. Nak-san Manor needs maintenance. Woon said it would be great to do a survey around the mines as well. Kong Ha-won said as you wish. Western Quarters private training room. Woon thought if I divide a month by 3 it's 10 days. 5 of that, I need to teach the 4 bodyguard warriors and Jiayong Ian. Time left for my training is only 5 days. But, my body has become lighter. To think my ki would increase this quickly in just a few months. How great? Well then, my inner ki is still unreasonably lacking. I have realized all of the core principles of the Phantom Sword a long time ago. The end of my sword is flickering. It does not happen through the intervention of a person's will. And so when accomplished, it is exceedingly difficult for the opponent to differentiate between the true form and fainted forms. Master called this sword mirror. It's an embarrassing level as I am lacking in inner ki, but it feels good at least. Myung-gok is said to be coming back after smashing the Murim Union, right? There's going to be a grand victory celebration. Ah, I don't wanna go. Kong Ha-won said, young sir, it's me Kong. Woon said, is the sun up already? I'll be out quickly. Kong Ha-won said, there's something I need to say. Woon said, is it about the victory celebration? I was already going to. Kong Ha-won said, they said that the victory celebration has been cancelled. Woon said, why? Kong Ha-won said, second sir requested a quiet return as he wanted to pay respects to the subordinates that died in battle. Woon thought a beast hungry for blood is hiding its claws pretty well. Woon said the subordinates must be deeply moved. Kong Ha-won said that is the case, but I heard that the higher-up have expressed rage. Since compassion and sympathy are not the true aim of the cult, I believe it's more important to look better to the higher-up. Woon said, to think you'd be this proficient at politics. Kong Ha-won said, isn't it what everything in the world is all about? Woon thought, to win the successor competition, I have to carry the support of the higher-up on my back. However, it's most certainly not easy to find a clan that will become my shadow, since depending on who they choose as the successor, the shadow's fate is decided as well. Kong Ha-won said, and also there's news that Jong Moon gave his resignation letter and went to his maternal home, the Sok clan. Woon thought, is the Gizhu Sok clan finally making a move? Kong Ha-won said, seems that I was a step too late. My apologies. Woon said, no, I think it's better this way, and thought I should get a message soon. And said, now that I think about it, today's schedule is completely up in the air now. Kong Ha-won said, how about heading out to the market? Woon said, market? Kong Ha-won said, since we've won the war, the slave market will open. Woon said, got it. I'll get ready soon. 1 hour later. Unlike the Murim Union, the heavenly demon divine cult auctions off the prisoners of war to sell them as slaves. Auctioneer said, here, the slave this time is of a different variety. He's tall, and got good strength. Woon thought, what a divine cult like. Auctioneer said, 10 liang. We have 10 liang. Anyone higher? Woon thought, Director Kong likely means that I should watch over those who came to purchase slaves. Kong Ha-won said, young sir, House Secretary Song is here. Woon thought, Jashim House Secretary, Song Jian-hyum? The one who handles housekeeping of the damning palace. What is someone who's essentially a prime minister of a nation doing in a slave market? I got a guess, more or less. Woon said. Director Kong, who is that man? He's the apothecary, Manguk. There's a rumor that he sells medicine for cheap to the Black Tortoise Corps. On the side of fourth brother. Woon said, then, who is that man? Kong Ha-won said, that man is the Red Wind Corps commander Won Woo-hyung. He's a member of the Fuzhou One clan. Fuzhou One clan is on the side of fifth brother. Woon thought, I see. He didn't reach the Jashim House secretary for nothing, and said they're both people Secretary Song paid attention to. Remember then well. Kong Ha-won said, how did you figure out why Secretary Song came here? Woon said, huh. And thought that child is. Woon said, Director Kong, could you win that child? Kong Ha-won said, what? Woon said, I will allow up to 100 liang. Unless Secretary Song shows up I will win. Kong Ha-won said, 100 liang is a lot of money. If needed, there's other maid. Woon said, but it's not so big we can't use it. Trust me. That child, she's got something. Kong Ha-won said, understood. He said, 50 liang. Auctioneer said, right? We have 50 liang. Anyone higher? Some person with mask said, here, 70 liang. Auctioneer said, 70 liang. We have 70 liang. Kong Ha-won said, 80 liang. Person with mask said, 90 liang. Kong Ha-won said, 100 liang. Person with mask said, 120 liang. Woon said, stop. Secretary Song has arrived. They're looking at us. Let's head back now. Kang Ha-won said. Why did someone like Secretary Song show up at a slave market? Woon said it seems like he's watching over those with unclear origin of funds, since they could become danger to the true cult. Kang Ha-won said, isn't it okay for us since we've had it granted by our great cult leader? Woon said, but Secretary Song doesn't know that, does he? His fastidiousness isn't of your average person. So, who won the auction? Kang Ha-won said, seeing their martial uniform, it looked like the Red Flying Corps. Woon said, Red Flying Corps, huh? Was it him? Kang Ha-won thought, when did he? I didn't even sense his presence while having young sir next to me. How careless of me. And said, who are you? Reveal your identity? He said, Sokju of the Red Flying Corps. Greet 7th sir. Woon thought by Sokju, and said, aren't you the Flying Foul Sword? Sokju said, I am only thankful for recognizing the title of someone so lowly. Kang Ha-won said, is he someone you know? Woon said no. Woon thought it's just that I know his title due to what will happen in about 10 years or so, and said, if the Flying Foul Sword came all the way here, there must be a reason, right? Sokju said, I want to make an offer to young sir. Woon said, and what would that be? Sokju said, if young sir meets up with someone, I will hand over this child. It will not be a harmful meeting to you. Woon said, how strange. How could the Flying Foul Sword be so certain of that? Sokju thought, what in the world is this pressure? And said, they're not someone you can meet easily. Woon said, what you mean? Sounds to me like I am someone who can be met easily then. I thought Kang Ha-won was the head. That wasn't it. However young he is, he's still the blood of the heavenly demon, is that it? Woon said, well, sure then. Flying Foul Sword. Woon said, Director Kang, give us some space. Kang Ha-won said, young sir? Woon said, if he tries something, you won't be able to stop it anyways. Sokju said, thank you for understanding. Then, ahead of the explanation, Woon said, all right, do tell me. How amazing is the person who apparently wants to see me? Moments later, Kang Ha-won said, I saw the Flying Foul Sword leaving. Woon said, take care of the child. Kang Ha-won said, which means you've decided to meet them. Woon said, that's right. You're not asking who they are. Kang Ha-won said, that wouldn't be something I should know yet. Woon said, when it's accomplished, I will tell you first. And thought, since the person I can trust the most right now is you, Kang Ha-won. He thought, I don't know who's behind young sir, but Flying Foul Sword is an expert known wide even throughout the true cult. If he uses everything he has, I wouldn't last even 10 forms. Young sir, how do you know all of this? And how can you face him alone so confidently? Have you truly raised your strength all by yourself all this time? What was I doing as a director, out of everything? Kang Ha-won said, I do have a question. Woon said, do ask. Kang Ha-won said, how did you fool everyone for such a long time? Woon said, because there was no other choice. Kang Ha-won said, then why did you think now's the time? Woon said, because it would be too late if not now, and thought, if I want to turn something back, if I want to carve destiny as I wish, it would be too late if not now. Shi Junmyung's residence reception room. Shi Junmyung said, how is he? Sokju said, he is better than I thought. Shi Junmyung said, Kang Ha-won is that great of a person? Sokju said, it isn't Kang Ha-won. The brains of the West House is the 7th young lord. Shi Junmyung said, the 7th young lord. Sokju said, well, not 100%. He is more than 90%. I'm sure he has the power to draw people. Him. Shi Junmyung thought, that right there is the quality of a monarch. Is he really that talented? But the mountains he must overcome are much too high, and said, now, have some tea. Sokju said, the 7th young lord is received favorably by all. According to Bai Zion, he only started practicing sword techniques not too long ago, yet there aren't any flaws to his sword. Shi Junmyung said, is Kang Ha-won teaching him? Sokju said, I do not know that far. And his escort guards? I heard they receive training separately, but I was not able to find who the teacher was. Shi Junmyung said, find out whether there have been others who have made their move before us. And thought, surely it isn't the Yangzhou family. Sokju said, understood, and have a happy new year. Shi Junmyung said, you as well. At the time, West House's study, Jiang Ian said, milord, I have brought the child. Woon said, come in. Jiang Ian said, then I will step out now. Woon thought, that attire. Seems there's been some sort of misunderstanding. And said, no, just wait off to the side here. Jiang Ian said, understood sir. Woon thought, it's on the tip of my tongue, but She barely has any will to live. As the hunt for humans in the divine cult is ruthless, it must have been too much to handle at a young age. And said, how old are you? She said 12. Woon said, your family? She said, died. You guys killed them. Jaeyoung-eun said, my lord. Woon said, stop, Jaeyoung-eun. She said, let go, I am going to die too. Woon said, your family won't come back to life just because you die, so don't try to give up on your life that easily. I, too, can overpower you in an instant if I just pierce your meridian, but I won't. She said, why not? Woon said, because I want you to decide your own life. Because if you don't, you'll always want to give up on that life of yours again. I hope you can find your path here and survive. I'll help you in all that you need. She said, lies. I heard people of the divine cult deceive others. Are you going to use me as a plaything? Woon said, I'm not that sort of person. Not everyone here is that sort either. Are all those outside the divine cult good people? The way people live is all the same. If you've calmed down, then I'd like to hear your story. She said, my name's Koya. I was living in a small village in Chinju, but people from the divine cult, after asking if we'd cooperated with Mount Kunlun, killed everyone. We just thought that these unknown people had appeared to ask for food though. Huh? What could have happened to? Woon said, Koha, you mean your sibling? I'm sure she can easily be found if you came together. She said no, Koha was dragged off to another place. Woon said, Jaeyoung-eun, tell Chief Kong about this and to try to look for Koha. Jaeyoung-eun said, understood. Koya said, really? If you can just find Koha, then my everything. No, I will give everything to you, milord. Woon said, no, there's no need for that. And, though there is one thing I may have to ask of you someday, I get that feeling. Woon said, Jaeyoung-eun, I'll entrust this child to you. Think of her as a little sister and look after her. Jaeyoung-eun said, I will follow your command. A little later, Woon recalled a memory. Sok-ju said, the person that would like to meet you, my lord, is the head. Woon thought elder Shi. Contact with the Shi family was something I'd planned, but the timing is a bit early and the person is also unexpected. Shi Junmyeong, one of the 10 elders, as well as a recognizable master even by the divine cult. Though he appears gentle from the outside, he's an evil spirit amongst evil spirits. I'll be eaten up alive by them if anything goes wrong. I mustn't be used as one of their cards. I must form a relationship of equal footing with them. A few days later. This isn't your average horse. It avoids, and doesn't get into any bad situations unnecessarily. Jo Kwang said, whoa. It appears this is the place. Woon said, let's get off. Woon said, anyone there? On other side person said, what brings you here? Woon said, the password 1 June of Northern Skin with 2 June of Duzhong. Gate guard opened the door and said, the wind is cold. Please come inside. Woon said, it appears they've set up a base here. Woon said, it won't be a trap. Let's go. Jo Kwang said, how incredible. It's a pond. Woon said, wait here. Jo Kwang said, I will accompany you. Woon said, no. He isn't a person that you can even fight against anyway. And thought I'm unable to beat him, even if I recovered all of my past life's Wujong either. To request for the exclusion of Chief Kong accompaniment as the condition to meet secretly, in the end, he's trying completely to test me. Shi Junmyeong said, have you arrived? Woon said, there's no choice but to respond, as a powerful person has called. Wow, it's nice. Shi Junmyeong said, what sort of power does an elderly person have? First, please have a seat. Woon said, if Elder Shi doesn't have power, then just who does? Shi Junmyeong said, the Lord of the Divine Cult does. Woon said, is that so? Not the Ming family and the 8 Mount Tai families? And thought Shijo's words weren't a lie. Shi Junmyeong said, the Divine Cult Lord will be sad if he hears that. Woon said, it's also a quality of a Divine Cult Lord to be able to confront the truth. Shi Junmyeong said, that is a dangerous remark, my lord. Woon thought, is this the 1,000 sound strands? But I've also experienced the heavenly demon cultivation art. I must let this sort of internal force flow out. Shi Junmyeong thought the young lord isn't using internal force. The pain is multiplied the more internal force is used on the 1,000 sound strand though. Woon said, how disappointing. Shi Junmyeong said, are you referring to this elderly man's Wujong? Woon said, I have no choice but to be disappointed as you don't treat others with trust. Shi Junmyeong said, regardless of status, anyone who insults the cult lord must be punished. Woon said, that's only true for inside the damning palace. Shi Junmyeong said, what do you mean? Woon said even today, hypocrites in the Central Plains still survive, saying, divine cult this, divine cult leader that, but I can't believe you're all having a power struggle against one another in damning palace, when you're unable to punish those hypocrites. And thought I've survived that, grandpa. Shi Junmyung said, young lord, are you not afraid of death? Woon said, for a person who hasn't made great achievements, how could they not be afraid of death? Shi Junmyung said, then, are you saying you're going to make great achievements? Woon said, isn't that the reason why books were created for this world? Shi Junmyung thought, while he looks 13 from the outside, that isn't the case for the inside, and said, it is said that the scent of Mount Hung's floral tea is on par with that of Yunnan. Woon said, if that's the case, then the price should be the same. Yunnan's tea must be much more expensive though. Shi Junmyung said, no wonder why it seems like your blade is still pointed at me. Yes. Woon said, then would you feel happy when you're abruptly getting attacked? Shi Junmyung said, please forgive me. However, insulting the divine cult lord is a dangerous matter. If you please. Woon said, I'm sure you didn't call me to give such a warning though. Shi Junmyung said, I would like to present you with a proposal, young lord. Woon said, if it's a proposal asking, I'll lend you my power, so be my card, then I'll decline. Shi Junmyung said, how could I make such an insolent proposal? It's just that the Gizhushi family would like to become your backing, young lord. Woon thought, I'll be caught up in this if I act sloppily from here, and said, may I ask what the reason for that is? A little later, the West House Kong Ha-won said, have you returned? Woon said, I've decided to hold hands with the Gizhushi family. Kong Ha-won said, that's great. That's really wonderful. Woon said, of course that's great, but it's still too early to be happy. Woon recalled the memory while talking to Kong Ha-won. Woon said, may I ask what the reason for that is? Shi Junmyung said, first is that you still don't have any support, and second is that I felt that your qualities are extraordinary. Woon said, I appreciate those words, but I haven't had any backing since I was born. And I haven't really proven anything until now either. Even if I have a good chance of becoming the successor, I haven't done enough work to show that. But the Gizhushi family is going to sponsor me? Wouldn't I be a fool if I simply just believed it? However, if the Yunnan tea, which are my brothers, compliment me, Mount Hung's floral tea, then my value in the successor competition will be cheap, so I'll be an easy card to discard. The successor competition isn't just about picking the one with the most outstanding wujong. They must be strong enough to be the cult lord, as well as have a lot of achievements. Shi Junmyung thought, I'm sure he has an extraordinary talent and intelligence. If only he was the third or fourth young lord. Woon said, the people leading the 8 Mount Tai families each support someone different. If I'm to bring all their support towards myself, then I'll have to make my other brothers come towards my side, and grow my power. Elder, it'd be good if you didn't hide any more from me. Shi Junmyung said, how incredible. You've seen right through it. By growing your power, young lord, we just hope to support the right person in the future. And thought, this is the reality. The 7th young lord, will he reject my proposal? Woon said, they say Mount Hung's floral tea is Mount Hung's floral tea from the moment the flowers bud. Who does Gizhushi view as the right person? And thought, as long as it isn't Minggok. Shi Junmyung said, there isn't anyone yet. Woon said, is that so? Shi Junmyung said, do you think this elderly man will go that far just to deceive you? Woon said, I will agree if you just promise me one thing. Shi Junmyung said, what sort of promise? Woon said, please listen to my opinion when picking the right person. Just that. Kong Ha-won said, in the end, the decision-making rights are all in their hands. Would we gain any profits from this deal? Woon said, we just have to make it so that their plans go astray. And thought, borrowing their power, I'm going to be the right person. Since it's just death for me anyway, if I don't ascend the cult lord's seat. I promised to fight with everything I've got. I have no intention of just ending things after only sloppily helping others. And said, that's that. And I did tell Jiang Ian to say this, but Kong Ha-won said, oh, are you referring to Koya's sibling? Well, I heard the Red Dragon Squadron purchased the child. Woon said, the Red Dragon Squadron? Have you tried to connect with them? Kong Ha-won said, yes. However, even if we offer them a couple times the bid, they said they cannot hand that child over. I believe they're raising them to become an assassin. As the Red Dragon Squadron will occasionally raise children who have survived the battlefield like that. Woon said, really? Koya will be disappointed though. Woon thought, now I remember. Ghost Hands Jangyang, and said, "Entrust the Red Dragon Squadron matter to me?" Called Zhou Kuang and Zhongyongs. Kong Hawan said, "What are you talking about, my lord? Are you saying that you'll visit there yourself?" Woon said, "Isn't that something that needs to be dealt with anyway?" Dive into the world of manga with us. Subscribe for exciting manga recap videos that bring your favorite stories to life. Love manga? Subscribe now and never miss our manga recap episodes, where we break down the latest chapters and discuss all the juicy details.